Did I go see the movie Noah? Nope. I'm not gonna waste my money on a Bible-themed movie made by an atheist that doesn't even believe in God, yet wants to use him to promote his own worldview. It's like environmentalists believing fossil fuel is bad and cars should only be powered by electricity, even though it takes those evil fossil fuels to generate the electricity to charge their so-called all-electric cars. And being that this movie is meant to appeal to the self-righteousness of environmentalists and elitist humanists, I reckon they can appreciate my analogy.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
Man, I am all about people being creative with how they want to illustrate the Bible. It's okay to take creative license with the Bible. It's more than okay. It's great. Go nuts. Like if you want to make it a science fiction theme, or if you want to put it in a contemporary setting, or if you want to make it a comedy or a cartoon or whatever, God expects us to be creative with promoting the gospel. So yes, find creative ways to help people understand the word. You can let your imagination run wild with creativity to promote the Bible. But it's taking liberties with the message of the Bible is where the problem is. And that's what this movie Noah does. The movie Noah is all about glorifying the self-righteousness of those who care about the environment and elitist humanism and animal activism. The movie Noah is not about glorifying God's righteousness. The problem with this movie is that it violates the commandment to not take God's name in vain. The movie is using God to promote a secular worldview. That's taking the Lord's name in vain. You're not interested in God and His word. You're only interested in His name to give leverage to your agenda, which leads people further away from Him. Again, I support getting creative. You want to make fallen angels out to be rock people? Knock yourself out. I personally don't like the idea. The Bible doesn't say anything like that, but hey, you're exercising creativity. That's fine, but it's a creativity that's instrumental in delivering an overall message that's apart from God and promoting your own. And that's what I keep telling y'all. The nature of liberals takes liberties that lead to destruction. And on a side note, how is it that these movies, no matter who they're made by, keep making the biblical figures fair-skinned, blue-eyed, and with a European accent? Hollywood alone is notorious with taking liberties, but not when it comes to taking liberties with having Europeans play the role of people residing on the African continent. They claim to be all about diversity, but they have a real hard time diverting from having Europeans play biblical figures. I mean, for corn's sake, Noah is the grandfather of Cush and Cush's nation. Now, does he look like he would be Russell Crowe's and Jennifer Connelly's biological grandkid? And that's when the Aryan nation nuts will say, well, that's because Ham was cursed and his children were cursed with dark skin. Shut up. Noah laid that curse upon Canaan. He didn't lay that curse upon Cush. And having dark skin ain't a curse anyway, punk. Now, defenders of this movie will say it's not fair for me to comment on this movie without seeing it. Yet it's okay for them to spend millions to make a movie based on a story from a book they haven't read or believe in. Y'all, I used to be a liberal. I know what they think. And the great irony is that the people who made this movie try to make environmentalism and humanism the hero, when actually what God found wicked was the self-righteousness of wicked people like you. The wrath that God brought upon the world was because of people who rejected Him. You know, people like the ones who created the movie. Because the rejection of God is what leads people to do harm to their neighbors. Well, what about all the people that God had killed? What? You mean the people who were doing great harm to other people? Slavery, cannibalism, child sacrifice, sexual entitlements? Yeah, God had them killed. But God condoned slavery. Nah. God says if you kidnap people to keep them or sell them, ergo forcing slave trade, you're to be put to death. And maybe y'all didn't read that big old story called the Exodus and somehow missed the judgments that God brought down on Egypt for enslaving the Hebrews. My friend Brian Godawa, author of the story Noah Primeval, pointed out that people complain about Christian movies being so bad because they are agenda-driven while suffering from poor storytelling and preachiness. Then he says as well, how about a new term? Bad atheist movies that suffer from poor storytelling and preachiness. And if I might add, while trying to use biblical stories to do it. It's contrary, like the idea that the universe came from nothing. Atheists who are all about cause and effect believe in the effect of the universe without something causing it. So if atheists want to go with the universe exploding out of nothing, they still have to deal with the cause of the explosion. Nothing does nothing, thinks nothing, feels nothing, desires nothing, knows nothing, etc. Which means nothing can't be the motivator and the detonator that blasted the universe into existence. Anyway, y'all, like I said, God invites us to be creative in promoting the gospel. Tell stories, write songs, make comedies, whatever illustration you can make to edify people, do it. Don't be discouraged by movies that are too preachy. Learn from it and keep making them. Keep refining the formula until it's a great balance of great messaging and great storytelling. Now, admittedly, I reckon I'm a bit sensitive when it comes to Noah. That's my dude. So when I heard about this movie, I was excited, yet soon disappointed to learn of what was behind it. But for me, the story of Noah in the Bible was instrumental in me becoming a Christian. As many of y'all know, I wasn't always a Christian. I was an agnostic who loved science fiction. I wanted to make a science fiction movie based on the story of Noah. So as I would study his story, I found myself reading more and more of the Bible. I fell in love with the Bible, and of course fell in love with the Lord. The story that started off being a science fiction piece based on Noah from an agnostic's point of view ended up being a science fiction story based upon the story of Noah from a Christian's point of view. My hope is that those who still consider themselves agnostic or even atheists would discover this story and relate and identify with the processes that I went through to come to faith. I've been saying for a long time how it saddens me that liberals and people who are apart from God are telling the stories we should be telling. So I reckon I better walk it like I talk it and share that story I've been sitting on for many years. Roots of the Curse, Part 1 of 3 of the Flood Chronicles, a science fiction epic of biblical proportions. I'll be filling you in with more details of the story, and I'll make the story available for you to read to help motivate you wanting to support it through Kickstarter as we work to produce the screen adaptation of it. I'm Alfonso Rachel with ZoNATION, and if you want to be among the first to be in the arc supporting this effort and be in the loop on the details of it, subscribe for updates at my website, alfonsorachel.com. I make it very clear that this is a Bible-based story, and I make it very clear that with the Bible, the book will always be better than the movie. Did I go see the movie Noah? Nope.